Good morning and welcome to 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts, a daily financial news capsule to get you clued in for the day. I am Bhaskar Datta. In major international developments, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Tel Aviv yesterday to try and push through a ceasefire in Gaza, although statements by Palestinian militant group Hamas cast doubts on how successful these efforts would be. Reuters reported, Blinken's visit comes at a time when concerns have built up of the war in Gaza spilling over into the larger region, as Iran has threatened strikes against Tel Aviv to avenge recent assassinations of Hezbollah and Hamas leaders. In addition to loss of life, an escalation of the conflict would likely push up inflation across the globe, as supply chains of commodities like crude oil could be affected. Turning to local developments. Remember the Mahadev scam? Well, it seems to be like the many-headed hydra of legend, as more than 20 offshore gaming apps are under the Enforcement Directorate's scanner for remitting and round-tripping funds, according to an ET exclusive. ED officials said that victims of the scam, that is, unsuspecting punters, could have suffered losses worth more than 1 lakh crore rupees. The money was moved around as cryptocurrency, payments for fake service imports, and investments in the stock market. Speaking of the stock market, if you're interested in fresh listings on Dalal Street, there are 7 initial public offerings scheduled to launch this week. The IPOs, which are worth a total of rupees 929 crore, will be carried out by Interarch Buildings, Orient Technologies, Braceport Logistics, Forcus Studio, QVC Exports, Ideal Technoplast Industries, and Resourceful Automobile. Amid the global conflicts that continue to rage, India's holdings of US government securities have been on the rise, touching a high of $241.9 billion in June, marking an increase in exposure to the world's safest debt assets for the third straight month. Japan was the top holder with securities worth over $1.1 trillion, followed by China at second place with official holdings valued at $780.2 billion in June, according to latest data released by the US Treasury Department. Holdings of US government bonds, which include purchases by central banks, typically increase during global episodes of risk aversion, as investors flock to the safety of US government debt. Just as COVID-19 seems to have faded from public memory, monkeypox is increasingly becoming a cause for worry, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Indian authorities closely monitoring the situation. Following a surge in cases in Africa and the Middle East, the World Health Organization has declared monkeypox a health emergency of international concern. There are fears it may derail exports to Africa, which is one of India's key trading partners. Further, latest cases of the highly infectious disease have been detected much closer home, with 3 individuals contracting the virus in Pakistan. Turning to the saga of a major Indian conglomerate, a plan to divide the Murugappa group equally amongst 3 family groups that's been over 2 years in the making has got stuck, said people with knowledge of the matter. The Murugappa Chettiar family has been negotiating an amicable split of the diversified business empire, which has over $9 billion worth of revenue in FY23, after 5 generations of working together for more than a century. Amid regional instability, India's tourism sector is suffering, as the ongoing political crisis in Bangladesh has severely affected the domestic inbound tourism industry. Bangladeshi travelers, who make a significant 23% of India's inbound tourism market and primarily come for medical tourism and shopping, particularly during peak periods such as Durga Puja and wedding seasons. However, the recent unrest in Bangladesh has led to a dramatic 90% decline in outbound travel from the country, according to officials from the Travel Operators Association of Bangladesh. That's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning in to 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts.